Hey guys, Dev here at WeBuyHouses.com. Welcome to the Cash Offer Masterclass, episode number 82. If you haven't seen 80 and 81, after you watch this one, go back and watch those two of the best episodes we put out in a long time. We haven't made a video in about a week because we had an ice storm here in Texas. You may have had it there where you are, and it was very disruptive. We're finally getting back to business, and I'm looking forward to spending more time with you guys and talking about more houses. I thought this one right here was kind of crazy. Look at that house. Do you notice anything unusual about this house? It has a stunning lack of windows. Like this house was built in 1920. It's up in Denison, Texas, and that's one of the reasons. Well, two of the reasons. I thought old house looks goofy, and it's in Denison. We haven't looked up there yet. Sherman, Denison area is really a cool area of Texas, up here north of the Dallas-Fort Worth. There's Texas there. See, north of Dallas-Fort Worth, pretty far north. You're almost getting up there to OKC. You're almost getting up there to the not OKC, but Oklahoma, and so that's where it is up there. If we zoom in on that area, of course, Denison's a nice town. It's gonna have your churches and your Whataburgers and your Chick-fil-A's and your all the things. It'll have all those things and a Albertsons. That's where we're going to go shopping from our house right there. We're going to go right up the street to Albertsons. We're going to eat at Whataburger. Here on the Cash Offer Masterclass, we have noticed that most of the houses that we look at have a Whataburger next to them. I don't understand that phenomenon, but I'm not gonna argue with it. If I come down here to Sherman, Sherman's a really cool city. It's got Austin College. My cousin went there, loved it, loved Sherman. Great town. So the Sherman-Denison area is a really cool area. And I thought, wow, look at that. A house up in Denison. And the other thing I thought was kind of odd about this one, here it is, came from Fazio, our friends over there. And it was built in 1920. We don't have that many 1920 homes here in North Texas. So I just thought that was kind of crazy. So those are the reasons I picked it to show you guys. Old house, has no freaking windows, and it's in an area that we haven't looked at. So let's go up there and check it out. Our friends from Fazio Real Estate Solutions sent this over. Now, guys, I don't have a relationship with Fazio. They just send me their emails, and I take a look at their houses. And if you have any interest in the house, you can reach out to Jade Vaughn at 214-646-9646. I don't make a dime if you buy this house. We Buy Houses doesn't, but we love these guys. We love the emails that they send out with the pictures and all the information. And for you and I, from an educational standpoint, Fazio just gives us this great information. A house that you can buy right now if you wanted to buy this house. It's available to you, this weird-looking house with no windows. All right, so let's go check it out. Now, remember, when we're doing the cash offer process, we're doing a few things. First, we're determining the after repaired value of the house. Like, what would it be worth if it was in great shape after repaired? That would be what we could sell it for on the retail market. The second thing we figure out is what are the repairs necessary to get it into that condition. And the third thing we can then compute is what is our cash offer for this house where we would make a reasonable profit if we bought, fixed, and sold this property. Now, I can't wait to look at the pictures of this thing. I pulled up this one just to kind of give me a background shot of it. There's the background. Crazy house. I just think I can't wait to get into it, see what we got. All right, so, and you saw the location. Okay, I'm going to X that out. We're going to get into our spreadsheet in here in just a second. What we want to do now is we want to go look and see what we think the house could be worth if it was in great shape. Now, the wholesaler has provided us a number. They say the ARV is $229,500, and that it's being offered to us for $73,000. $73,700. That's a pretty good deal, guys. $73,000 for a house in a great area north of Dallas here. Now, we do notice as we come down into here, Fazio's really good about telling us about what I call the big five: roof, HVAC, electrical, foundation, and plumbing. And if you'll notice, they say do your due diligence on all five of these things. Now, that's important to us because normally, if they think it's in pretty good shape, they'll say no known issues. And if they think it probably needs work, they'll say do your due diligence. In this case, all of the big five say do your due diligence. So I'm guessing Fazio has put eyeballs on this place and they know it's got some issues. So we're going to go look at it, see what it's going to take. Is $73,700 a low enough price for us to put our capital into this property, do all the repairs, everything that we would need to do in order to make hopefully a 10 to 15% net off the flip? Well, we'll see. We'll find out. Now, the first question, as I mentioned, that we are trying to answer is, what is the real after repaired value of this property? Is it really $229,500, $230,000? Now, one of the things that we do, because, if you have a real estate license, you can perform what's called a competitive market analysis, where you go pull recently sold data of houses around this property, maybe in the same school district, other similarities, similar size, similar, configuration, 3, 2, whatever, 3, 1.5, this one is, so we look at similar houses and we determine what they sold for if they were in great shape, and then we can back into what this one's worth. Now, that's what you would do if you had a real estate license. If you don't have a real estate license, use my method, which I look at Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, and I look at my fourth site, which is Property Radar. But if you just look at the top three, you'd be in pretty good shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to go look at Zillow. Zillow says this house, and man, this is a depressing looking picture there, is it not? $121,700, yoo-hoo, for the house on Lamar Avenue in Denison. And if I roll, that's saying $83 a square foot is what they think it's worth. And if I roll down here, at one point they thought $178. They're at the kind of the height of the housing market, which crashed crashed is relative, but dropped after 2023 down to where it's at today, and we're at 138. I could easily see this house in the 150s or something like that. But this is a very old house. And let's see, anything else about it? Nope. Let's go look at Realtor. Realtor has it. There's a little bit better picture of it. Not that much better. You can fly around it. 153,300 from Realtor. Thank you from Realtor. That's numbers coming from CoreLogic. I've noticed they tend to prefer CoreLogic's number. Quantarium's coming in at some ridiculous 189. I don't think that's right. No, it doesn't jive with the other numbers I'm seeing. I'm going to go over to Redfin. Check out the price over there, the value. It's $117,401. And they're showing this is leaning toward, it's leaning that way, toward a buyer's market. 82 days on market. It's it's the days on market that really start to push these things up. And then if prices are starting to drop, and you'll notice that in that area, 95.8% are selling at list price, which means about 4.25% of houses are selling at something different than the list price, which we can assume is lower than the list price. The median out there is 265, and that's actually gone up month over month. So, hey, it doesn't look like a bad market. Like I said, I wanted to look at Denison because Denison is a great place. I don't think most of the houses in Denison were built in 1920. So this one's kind of a weird one, and maybe a weird neighborhood. In fact, guys, one thing that we didn't do, let's do it real quick, is just a quick drive around in that neighborhood. If we go look around, there's our subject property. It's got an alley next to it, probably access to other, the backside of homes. If I drive down the street to this intersection, there's a nice house on the corner. See, like I told you, Sherman Denison's a nice area. The house just seemed kind of odd to me. Like, I'm just driving around the neighborhood looking at what's around here. Definitely older properties, definitely frame houses, not brick houses. But boy, that's a nice house. I'd love to own these houses, both of them. I want to own the whole street. I like this area. It's, for rentals or whatever, it's just perfect. Yeah, I like it a lot. So that's the area. Let me drop out of there. We're going to drop over into our model. That was not it. Here's our model. Clicked on the wrong link. Okay, so I've set my model up. I put my address in, my square footage, and then I came over here and I put in that information that we got from the different sites. Now I can't show you property radar. I'm not supposed to show that. I'm going to go blur that. Property radar showed us 163. The reason I can't show it is it shows personal information about the homeowners, which I do not show on my channel. And so 163 is what property radar says. Redfin's on the low end at 117. And then if you look at average and median values from the 4 sources that we used, we see around 138. So I came over here at 1470 square feet, $94 a square foot gives me 138,000. That's our starting point. So what does our model tell us? And this is at the core of what we do as real estate investors. We're looking at what the house could be worth, what it needs, this section here, and then what we could pay, this section over here. Our formula is after repaired value times 70% minus the repairs equals the cash offer. Right now, if there were no repairs needed, if this house was in excellent condition, we think it could sell for 138 and we would want to buy it for 96,726. So that's where we need to be. Now, this is why I thought this was a good deal worth looking at, is that the model says in perfect condition, 96, and what's the wholesaler asking for? 73. What does that tell you? It tells you that we have $23,000 of repairs that we could make, and this would be a good deal, and our model would work on this property, and that's why we're looking at it today. Besides the fact that it's a goofy looking house that needs some windows added, definitely needs windows. Oh my gosh. But 73 looks like a pretty good price. Now, next step in our process is to determine what the repairs are. And so in order to do that, we're going to go look at the pictures. This is why I like Fazio. If you're a wholesaler, you're wholesaling real estate, this is the type of email you want to send out to your cash buyers. You want to show them all this information and then give them a link to pictures so they can go look at the property and see how many pictures we got. Well, we got a few of them there. All right, let's jump into number 1. It's nighttime here, and I can't tell much about that. I do see a window unit. When you see a window unit, you assume HVAC. There's no central HVAC that's working, or if it is, it doesn't work well. And that's why they've had to add window units. And that window unit is not a temporary one. They've kind of set it in there. It looks like a permanent fixture, in my opinion. And that tells me may have some significant HVAC issues. We're in the house now, and wow, what are we looking at? I never look at these pictures before I have you guys with me, and so I figure we'll discover this together. 1920s house, man. I think those are 1920s cabinets. I don't think you could get that at Home Depot anymore. There's a breaker box up there, right there, very conveniently located wherever in the heck we are in this place. We may be in the garage. That's probably where we are. You know what? If this is the garage, it doesn't suck that bad. Look at that transition. Oh boy, I'm so confused because I think there might have been like this might be like a laundry room, refrigerator, and other parts between the garage and the house. I don't 100% know, and I'm assuming again that I'm in the garage right now. Looks pretty bad. Okay, we're coming into the house. We're in the kitchen, I'm assuming, because now we have a refrigerator there, and some cabinets that look newer, and a countertop that looks newer. So, but the paint, the walls don't look textured. Something's going on. Let's move farther in. All right, we have a A.O. Smith water heater. It's a gas unit. It looks okay. It's hard to tell. It's been there a while. Kind of a lot of dirtiness up there along the top. I can see it's probably been there for a number of years. If you get the label, if you take a picture of the label on water heaters, air conditioner units, all that kind of stuff, give it to ChatGPT and say, hey, this is a label on an air conditioner in a house I'm looking at. Tell me what you know about it. And it will go and it will figure out all this kind of stuff about that unit from reading the label. ChatGPT is pretty cool. And that's why, you guys, I want to see the labels. If you're a wholesaler and you're sending out emails like this, we want to see the labels on these things. That way the label will tell us when it was manufactured to give us an idea when it was probably installed and all that kind of stuff. So moving along, man, the house is just disgusting. Everything's in really rough condition. I still don't know where we are, to be honest. Have we made our way into the house? Are we still in the garage? I don't know. There is a breaker box in one location. I don't know if that's the same one we saw earlier. I'm not even going to go back. I don't care. There's a breaker box. Not necessarily the most elegant installation that you would see. You normally wouldn't see all these wires that are coming out and going off to their various locations, but it is what it is. It's probably not a big deal. All right, there's the front door of that house with one door, one window. That's what you got in 1920. See, you shouldn't complain about the house you have today. You should realize that back in 1920, you only got one door, one window, and that was it. We had to ration out the windows and the door. This house is pretty disgusting, and I have a feeling this fella right here is part of the problem. This house is wore out, my friends. And I think that looks like a working heater unit to me because it's glowing. And it's a gas heater unit on the wall that's fired up and blowing out warm air. And wow, complete cosmetic. Now I should start getting serious here about the video. Basically what I'm looking for is, what are these repairs? Like if I jump back to my model, does it need full cosmetic, a bunch of general repairs, beyond cosmetic, and then the big five: electrical, plumbing, HVAC, foundation, roof. Does it need those things? And then in my model, I can just kind of like I'm on Amazon, I can say, give me one cosmetic, please. And that's $14,700 based $10 per square foot on the square footage. So what I'm trying to do with my model is to make this easy for you guys, to simplify it down so that once you figure out your ARV, you can come into the model, look at the pictures of the house or go see the house, and then come into your model and say, I need one of these, two of those, one of those, half of that, that kind of thing. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. So, I'm looking for cracks. I'm looking for like that. I mean, that's just unfinished stuff. Here's another heater on the wall. So this house has no HVAC. I'm curious if it has ventilation, because I'm guessing maybe in 1920 this house did not have ductwork and the vents, and that's a problem. Usually in the older homes you'd see those often under the floor, and the vents would be coming up through the floor instead of down from the ceiling like we do nowadays. But okay, so let's try to wrap this thing up. We're in the bathroom, and it looks, okay. It's definitely part of the 100% cosmetic thing that needs to be done to this house. There is that window. Isn't that bizarre? That's that window when we were outside and we were looking at it, and I said, it looks kind of permanently installed there. That is bizarre. They just went out and got some spare parts, like a sign they picked up off the side of the road and made a filler out of it and stuck there. I don't know. This all needs to go. That should be a window. The house only had like 2 windows in it, and this is one of the windows. They filled it in with a sign and an air conditioner, which means guys, I hadn't even noticed, but as we were walking around, like there's no windows. There's no windows in this house. So crazy. I don't even know if I need to spend much more time with it. I find the pictures to be kind of not that entertaining. Because like, where are we? We don't know. What is that? Whatever. Looks kind of like garage to the outdoor. Yeah, garage has some popcorn on it. Yeah, not much to tell. I will tell you what this floor looks like to me is it might flood, because this should really be clean concrete. And when you see that level of dirt and debris on the floor, and then I see that right there. And I've bought houses that this exact thing happened, where I had a door to the outside, and when I'm thinking about it, I had to do a French drain out here, the whole side, to get the water away so it would stop coming in there every time there was a major storm. It was filling the garage with the water. I think that's what's happening here. This garage floor looks to me like it occasionally gets filled with dirty, muddy water from the outside. And that is a huge problem. Like you don't want that. You don't want that in your house. All right. So basically, man, this thing is just so trashed. Like that. I think we're in the kitchen. I think that's the living room, and this might be the dining room. It is so hard to tell because this house is trashed so bad. There's that crazy floor to almost ceiling window. That was a door. That wasn't a window. That was a door. That's crazy. That means it had even fewer. I think it had 2 doors and 1 window is what I think this house had, on the sides and the front. This is the craziest setup. And, somebody lived here and called it home. And, yeah, again, man, I think that garage floods regularly. This is just not normal debris for a garage floor. I think there was roof leaks and other things that caused this problem. And look, wow, we get in here and there's like one picture that approaches normal, which is the kitchen with these cabinets. And honestly, I think the cabinets are the one thing you could probably use out of this whole thing. All these appliances are crap. It's all junk. This house is in horrible conditioning. The siding, I'm hoping that's just paint. But the outside needs to be painted. So you'll see on my cosmetic, I don't stick at 1. I'll take it to a 1.5 or 2 if it needs a lot of outside cosmetic. And I really think it does. I think it needs a roof too. This house is in horrible condition. And it's really a pretty dumb looking house. I mean, just look at it. Like normally, like if you were drawing a house, if you were a child and you took a piece of paper and you were to draw a house, you as a child would put more windows in your picture than this house has right here. And that tells you a lot, that this house was probably designed by children, maybe not even children. I think my point was children would know to put more windows in there. I don't know who designed this house, but it is rough. Yep. A lot of activity going on in there now. Okay. Man, all the pictures they show are just disgusting. How many pictures did they show us of this? Which I assume is the garage, but it has a ceiling fan, and they just keep showing it to us and showing it to us. It's crazy. All right, let's go to the model, man. We spent too much time on this one. This is a 1.5 at least. I'm going to say 2. 2 on cosmetic. And that what I'm saying is everything on the inside needs to be done. Almost everything on the outside needs to be done. That's about $30,000. I need to throw in a bunch of general repairs because this house is disgusting and it's in horrible condition. So I'm just going to put a 1 right there. That gives me about another $9,000 to do repairs. I don't know what this house needs as far as electrical, plumbing, HVAC, foundation, roof. I'm going to assume it needs a HVAC unit, and I'm going to assume it needs a roof. I wasn't able to see a bunch of cracks, you know. So, and the house has been there since 1920. It's probably not moving a lot from where it's at right now, right? But yeah, look, electrical and plumbing, I bet you there's a bunch of those problems inside that house. I really do. So I have a feeling these answers are not 0. They're something above 0, 0.5, 0.25, 1, whatever they might be. I have a feeling the house needs electrical and plumbing. All right, let's wrap it up. I'm not even going to finish this because we've kind of made our point here. Let's look back at what was offered to us. Excuse me. It's this beautiful house in Denison, Texas, with 1 window, 1 door, and a door on the side that was turned into a window unit air conditioner. It's in Denison, which is a nice area to be in, and it's 3 bedroom, 1.5 bath. $229,000 is what they said the ARV is. We found that was not true. The ARV on this house is about $138,000, we think. And $138,000 would allow us to have paid $96,000 for it if it was in excellent condition. What we found when we looked at the pictures, though, is that it wasn't in excellent condition. In fact, it's in extremely rough condition. Probably all these things need to be done to it. They'd like $73,700 for the house. Right now, we're at $39,400, and I do think there's things over here. Let's just put 0.5 on plumbing and electrical. We're going to be at $30,000 on this house. So, is this house in Denison a good deal at 73? No, it is not. I would not want this house. I don't even think I would want it at 30, to be honest. It's just a horrible house. It just needs so much work. Sometimes when I look at a house like this, guys, I just think, man, could I rent a bulldozer and just be done with this and clear it away and be gone? Because it's honestly easier for us to build a new house than it is to take something like this and bring it back to something that's beautiful and desirable and would sell at even the 138, much less the 229. This house, can you imagine what it would take to get this house into a condition where somebody would pay $229,000 for it? I can't imagine it. I don't think it's possible. All right, guys, that's it. We are done today. By the way, if you have a house for sale that you'd like to get rid of, you just want to get rid of it and don't make all those expensive repairs, go to WeBuyHouses.com, fill out our form. I've got professional cash buyers and markets all over the United States that are ready to buy your house as is, no hassle, 10 days or less. You could be gone. You could turn that house to cash. So go ahead and reach out to WeBuyHouses.com if that's you. And for my real estate investor friends out there, again, I want to remind you to go look at episodes 80 and 81 that we just put out. Some of the best information that we put out on the channel so far. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff that YouTubers ask for. Hey, I'm a YouTuber now. I need you guys to do that. So if you're enjoying the channel, give me some feedback, give me that like, and certainly subscribe so I can stay in touch with you. Guys, it's been wonderful to spend time with you today. Sorry it was gone for a little bit because of the ice storm, but everything's back to normal now. Talk to you soon. Take care.